Welcome to the last part of the video. In this video, we are going to learn how to add the effect of uh, infinite scroll in this video. Okay, which means earlier what was happening is in the last video that whenever you scroll down, then you have to click a button in order for you to load the next post. But we're going to create an effect now wherein on the page scroll, in the next post should load like so. So you can see that next post is loading on the page scroll. Okay, so what we want to achieve is that whenever the page reaches the link for the previous post, then the next post should be loaded. Okay, so for that, everything else is the same. All we are doing is we are making changes in the previous post trigger function. So we had a previous post trigger function earlier on in which we were just adding an event to that link so that that link can be clickable and the next post should be loaded. Now what we're doing in this function is that we are creating a variable called trigger. We are getting hold of that link for the previous post, which is load previous A, which is basically load previous, which is nav, and A is this link. We're getting hold of this link. Okay, and then we are adding an event to the window. Okay, we are saying that whenever there is a scroll on the window, whenever the user scrolls the window, then this function should be called. Now inside of this function, which is called the get previous post on scroll, okay, we are creating a variable called trigger top position. Okay, which means the okay, let's just show that to you. Okay, so what we want to achieve is that whenever the this particular link reaches the bottom of the link, okay, so first of all we're getting the top position of this particular link. Okay, so this particular entire link, okay, we're getting the top position of that. Okay, and then we're also getting the window height. Okay, and we're saying that whenever the top position is greater than the window height, which means this position is bigger than the window height, then go ahead and return. Okay, and if the trigger top position is greater than the window height, then go ahead and execute this bit of code. Okay, so I'll show that to you in action. So let's do an inspect element and console. Okay, so if you notice, what we're doing is we are consoling this window height and trigger top position both. If you scroll down, you can see the window height remains the same, which is 709. Okay, and what I really want to do is I want to trigger it, this particular link. Some action needs to be performed at this particular link only when the trigger top position becomes less than the window height. So as you can see that the trigger top position is reducing as we scroll down, right? I'll show that to you once again. If you scroll down, the trigger top position is reducing. It was 139, it reduced to 138. Then if you scroll more down, it reduced to 886 and so on. So the moment it becomes less than the Windows top position, Windows height, okay, which means this is now reduced and now you can see nothing is happening. Okay, so the moment this top position is less than the Windows height, okay, at that point we want to go ahead and trigger these bit of codes. Otherwise, you should return. It should return. Okay. So what we need to do then is we need to call the get previous post function. Okay. Let's get rid of this. We don't need it. Okay. So whenever the trigger top position, which means the top position of your link, will be greater than the Windows height, then in that time we want to call this function get previous post, which is going to go ahead and do an Ajax request, get the data post object, call the build post function. Build post function is going to go ahead and create the content for the post, and then replace it with the previous content, get that next post link, and again call the same function. So this will go on and on again. Okay, but we need to make sure that we should remove this event. Okay, otherwise this event will be applied every time this function is called. Okay, so what we want to do is that the moment trigger top position is greater than the window height, this bit of code is executed, which means get previous post function is called, the previous post is retrieved and displayed, and we remove the previous event so that the next time the previous post trigger is called, then a fresh event can be applied. Okay, so just to recap, what we're doing over here, we're getting hold of the link. Okay, then we're adding an event on the window scroll, which means whenever the window scroll, this function should be called. Get previous call should be called, and inside of this function we are getting the top position of the link. Okay, and then we're also getting the window's inner height. Inner height is basically the inner height of the window excluding the scroll bar and toolbars. Okay, and then we are checking if the trigger position is greater than the window height, then don't do anything, get out of this particular function. But if it is less than the window height, then go ahead and call the get previous post function. Okay, so this function is called once this bit of code is executed. When this criteria is not met, this function is called. This function is going to go ahead and do the Ajax request using the REST URL, and is going to get the data in object. This object is passed to the build post function, which is called here, and this particular function is going to create the content, including the title, the featured image, the author name, the date, and everything, and the content, and then it's going to replace the previous content link with this particular content, the new content formed, and then again this function is called, okay, which is the previous post trigger, and this will continue. Okay, so again, one more time, a recap. Previous post trigger will be called once. Once this is called, we get hold of the link, we do an add event listener, we add an event on the scroll. On the scroll, this function is called get previous post on scroll. We get the top position of the link, which is the link that is displayed here for the previous post. We get the window's inner height. When the trigger top position is greater than window's height, then don't do anything, return. If the trigger top position is less than window height, then call the get previous post function and remove the event listener, because this function will be called again later on, so the event can be applied again. Okay, then in this function we are going ahead and doing an Ajax request using REST URL, and this which is returning the object for the post, and we're passing this object by calling this build post function. Inside of this function we are generating the content of the post, and then we are replacing it with the previous content, and we are calling this function back again. Okay, and this continues until there are no further posts. Okay. One more modification I've done. I had commented out this bit of code earlier, but we can do that. So inside of the build post object function, just below this JavaScript white link, you can add this bit of code, which is div class Ajax loader image source. Theme URI is basically the URL of your site that you had created a variable already, which was available using the post data object. So we put theme URI plus svg loader. Svg loader is all.svg. So basically this is the svg loader. We want some image to load while the page is being scrolled, so that the user gets to know that something is happening. So I have passed the link for this entire project, this child theme, onto my GitHub directory. So it's right here. You can see that. I will also write this link onto my YouTube video at the bottom in comment section, so you can go ahead and copy this entire thing and paste it in case if you are not able to copy it from here. Sorry, read it from here. Okay, and then the width is 80, height is 80, alt div. So we've added this div to the post content. So this loader button, so this basically is this button. So this will be displayed. This image, not button, this image will be displayed at the end. Okay. One more thing we want to do is basically currently the Windows trigger top position is when it becomes equal or less than the Windows hide, then go ahead and call the previous post function. What we want to do is we want to nudge this position slightly so that user can see, to improve the user experience as to what is, if something is happening. Otherwise you won't be even able to see the SVG loader. So we just added 150 pixel to that. Okay, so now if I go ahead and refresh, you can see that this is loaded and you can see this button is coming. Okay, alright. So all I have done is the previous post link position, we have added 150 on top of it so that it is visible and the user can see while scrolling that something is happening. If I don't do that, then you will notice that it's not giving a very good experience. So you can see, you can't really see the button. You can see, but it's very late. Okay, so that's why I'm adding 150 pixels to it. Okay, in the position. Perfect. So that's all sorted, and I hope you liked the video. If you did, please like and subscribe to my channel and share with other people. And I'm leaving the link for this project. All the codes are there on GitHub, on my GitHub site. Okay, and you can always copy that and use it. Okay, if you have any questions, you can leave a comment and I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you very much, guys. Take care.